Namaste. Before we start, we want to let you know that it's really okay not to be okay. Owing to the pandemic, many countries, including our India, have implemented various social disruptions to people's to daily routines. As most are restricted from even stepping out of their houses, and so for the elderly, there is hopelessness and loneliness, and even ours. I mean, we the students' routines has changed from what it was like regular school and meeting friends to online classes. Yes, the pandemic has brought great socio-economic uncertainties, giving rise to increased anxiety, depression, addiction, and suicide the world over. And it is natural to feel stressed. It's okay to feel negative emotions because these negative emotions balance out the positive ones. Having emotions and feelings is what makes you humans. So, you may say that you don't see an end to your pain, but the only way out of your pain is through it. So, it's really that goal to be okay, not to be okay. So, please holding out your hope a little longer. But you really do have to keep this thing in your mind that mental health plays a very crucial role in fighting COVID 19. So, in this International Yoga Day, we decided to grow is reclaiming the deeper roots of the yoga practice, not the asanas, but the mental and emotional benefits. Because we know that yoga is a psychology. The whole practice helps us work with the nature of the mind, the nature of being a human, how emotions live in our bodies, how they affect our behavior and our minds. It helps us to recognize and cope with our own low self-esteem. So please let us decide to grow to deepen your understanding of the psychological heart of yoga. So let's begin with what's yoga psychology.
The principles and practices of yoga or yoga psychology were developed in ancient times, offering a holistic integrative system of mental health that is just as relevant today. The system of yoga, developed and taught by Patanjali, the great Indian sage from over 2000 years ago, is defined as the development and refinement of the mind. What the mind is, how it works, non-limitations and dysfunctional tendencies, what we can do to improve its functioning, and what it might be capable of with understanding and specific practices. The system of yoga described by Patanjali includes a holistic understanding of the mind in the context of a physical, breathing, social being with implications for behavior change, personal transformation, and living a flourishing life. Yoga itself is a well-developed system of psychology. Yoga in the modern world, though, is no longer a term primarily associated with its ancient system presented in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Modern yoga is a much broader concept which includes a growing number of styles and approaches, often associated predominantly with physical postures and group classes, gentle or intense, calming or energizing, whatever you like, taught by the people with a diverse range of education, training, and experience. Yoga in the tradition of Patanjali offers teachings and practices to develop a personal experience of the subtle mind-body-breath connection. In yoga, this connection is more important than physical strength or flexibility. It is instead the qualities of the mind which are central to the teaching and practices of yoga.
You know one thing, yoga can benefit your mental health and well-being and even improve your relationships. Now, I'm going to show you 5 ways yoga benefits your mental health. Firstly, it moves you from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system, or from fight or flight to rest and digest. You typically have less anxiety and enter a more relaxed state. As soon as you start breathing deeply, you slow down out of fight or flight and calm your nervous system. Second, it helps you build your sense of self. Through yoga, you get to know yourself and cultivate a more non-judgmental relationship with yourself. You are building self-trust. You exercise more and eat healthier because your unconscious mind tells you, I'm worthy of this me time, this effort. At the end of the day, everything comes down to your relationship with yourself. When you get more confident and become more rooted in your sense of self and your center, you develop a healthy, balanced ego where you have nothing to prove and nothing to hide. You become courageous with high willpower. You're not afraid of difficult conversations. You know you're still going to be okay at the end of the day. Third, it improves your romantic relationship. When you're more centered and more peaceful with yourself, you'll be the same way with your partner. You'll view them through the same lens of compassionate, unconditional love. You're less reactive. For example, you may know that snapping at your partner is not a wise choice. Fourth, it helps you become aware of your shadow qualities. The yoking of solar and lunar, light and dark in yoga makes us recognize qualities in ourselves that we were not aware of, helping us be more mindful. And lastly, it helps you deal with family of origin issues. Essentially, that's our karma. We can't give back our family, we're born into it. It's about owning what I call scared wounds rather than blaming and talking them on more mindfully. You're the only one that can change. The only thing you can do is control your actions and your behavior. Other people will inevitably be forced to show up in a different way. You're showing up in a different way.
So I think that COVID-19 pandemic helped us realize the importance of a healthy mind. While the sanitizers, disinfectants and masks may keep the infection at bay, but it's really our calm mind that could fight the feeling of uncertainty and anxiety. So restore your calm mind with yoga on this day. Hope you find this useful, so take some time to log out, shut down and do yoga.